Where'd your camera come up here to speak? Oh, that camera didn't work?
So we're live streaming right now.
Live. Yep. So I guess I'm going to start out over here.
I got a year and a half left.
I'd come over there, but it's a lot of work. No, I was just waving hi. And that's why I didn't know why you started coming. I'm like, oh my God.
Well, Heike just said you wanted to take some pictures with the engine. Where would you like that?
He said he's got his lighting and lenses down.
Where we'll move her to wherever you want to have her. Okay. Wait. How are you feeling?
Fantastic.
Yeah?
Yes.
Can all of our guests please take a seat? And we are live right now on YouTube.
There's a microphone, so it'll be sitting next to the podium. Have to turn it on. You didn't recognize it.
I know.
Yeah, really.
All right, you got me too close to the other side. Yeah.
Not anymore.
Everyone stand. Please stand for the presentation of the colors.
All uniform personnel, attention! All uniformed personnel, please at arms. Order, arms. At ease. All uniformed personnel at ease.
Thank you for attending this service today for Fire Chief Ron Simmons. We now will have some guest speakers.
Good morning. I'm Commissioner Schmoker. I've been privileged to be here with Fire and Rescue since before Chief Simmons joined. I've been through his whole career. I've been here, and I'm honored and privileged to have served with him as a volunteer at first, and for the last 12 years as commissioner. It's been some fun times, some good times, learned a lot from him. Been my mentor the whole time. And had a lot of fun. Built a snowman in his office, put a fire hydrant in his office. We've done some things like that. There's been some other crews that were also privileged to put his house up for sale and things. But he's been a good sport. He's been a good teacher. And a few months ago, actually several years ago, when we first started talking about his retirement, we set some tentative dates, and they got pushed out again and again because he had a sense of duty. He had a sense of responsibility. There were things that he needed to accomplish. There were things that he wanted to get done, some tasks that had to be done, some issues that had to be dealt with. And so he kept pushing that date out. And a few months ago, early this year, he set another date, which was today. And then the pandemic hit. He started talking about maybe he should extend his retirement some more. So I told him, and others on the board told him that, and probably his family and other people also, there's always going to be another issue. And given the choice, I believe he would have stayed, tackled those issues continually until kicked him out. It's his sense of responsibility, his sense of duty, most admire. Friendship and his mentorship for me has kept me out of trouble on the board, kept me from saying things maybe I shouldn't have said, and guided me along the way. I appreciate his mentorship, his friendship, and as sorry as I am to see him go, I'm glad that he's retiring. But of support and dedication to this department. And I appreciate all of that. Thank you.
Morning, all. Thank you for being here. Very pleased that I was asked to come and speak for Ron's retirement. My name is Mark Hintz, for those who are new. I was a former commissioner. Last January was my last meeting. So this has been a while since I've been up here. But what I found most important with Ron was his accountability. His accountability to the citizens of this district to provide the best service that's possible and to hold each of his staff members accountable. Sometimes it wasn't easy, and we heard about that, and sometimes it went well. I know that his retirement, he's going to find something to keep himself busy. There's a fire over in Wenatchee right now, or somewhere over there, so I'm surprised he's not on the rig going over. But the only difficulty he's going to have with negotiations anymore is what Marty has him doing. So I guess she's probably a little more difficult at negotiating than I think the union ever was. But it's been a privilege for me these past 15 years to have worked with Ron, Jim, and all the members of the district here. And I wish Ron the best, whether he's on the deck overlooking the lake or down in Ballard watching the parade go by. Have a wonderful retirement. Thank you.
Morning. Thank you for inviting me to speak on this occasion. Simmons is a person I admire. It's a pleasure to be here. I'm a little disheveled here because when the mask comes off, so do the hearing aids and the glasses. It's like a bionic man that just go up. I rarely get asked to speak except at funerals. I'm a poor speaker and too emotional to speak at funerals. An undiplomatic friend of mine is to punish the audience for celebrating someone else's demise. Not very diplomatic, but pretty straightforward. Thinking back on that occasion reminded me of Chief Simmons. I don't think Chief Simmons' future is in the diplomatic corps. I don't know how the rest of you had dealings with Chief Simmons, but I just don't think that's where it's at, Chief. I'm sorry, if that's your plan. When diplomats say yes, you know, they mean maybe. Diplomat says maybe, no. If a diplomat says no, he's no longer a diplomat. I ask you, does that sound like Chief Simmons? I don't think so. I said at the beginning, Chief Simmons is a man I admire. I admire those qualities that I can learn from and emulate. He has a farmer's way of thinking and speaking. A person who speaks plainly, not overcomplicate issues, not herd-bound. Country term, Chief. Comfortable taking the road less traveled by. Not out of spite, not out of arrogance, but out of conviction. He has a rare ability to be cooperative yet independent. He understands that we can get to the same place, many roads. In a relationship with Chief Simmons, you always know where you stand and where he stands. He's direct and honest. Never says maybe if he means no. Not a diplomat, fire chief, extraordinary integrity. No legacy is so rich as honesty. We're in the midst of profound changes in our social, political, and economic lives. Events seem to be relentlessly forcing us to choose between strikingly different, strongly competitive philosophies. I don't think we can follow Pooh Bear's thinking that there's only one thing to do. Work that way. Sometimes country boys just need an explanation. As the country boy who got the new job in town, on his first day at work, he was approached by the union and asked to join. He said no. On Wednesday, he was again approached by the union and asked to join, and he said no. On Friday, the same thing. Come Sunday, a delegation from the union went to his house and knocked on the door. When he came out, they gave him an old-fashioned blanket party. He got a pretty good something. On Monday, when he went to work, found the union rep and joined the union. The rep asked him why he just didn't join on the first day. Country boy said, well, nobody explained it to me. So sometimes we country boys just need things explained, and sometimes we just take the road less traveled by. I've enjoyed our conversations immensely, Ron. Appreciated your thoughtful counsel. Demonstrated that we can all work together without being alike. The road less traveled by is such because Made it look easy, even though I know it was not. Thank you for your. I wish you a long life, many grandchildren, a wonderful retirement. As Roy and Dale would say, happy trails to you until we meet again. Thank you.
After 35 years of fire service. We thank you for your dedicated service and wish you the best during your retirement years. I'm announcing Fire Chief Ron Simmons out of service. Congratulations.
Changed here. Announcements. Farther watching, that might just be. But I want to recognize that my wife Marty's here. My daughter Amy and Alex, her husband, Madeline and Ian are here. My son Nathan and his significant other Kendall are here. And then hopefully watching, at least I think they're watching, my dad Clyde Simmons, his wife Marianne, and my aunt Deanna Lenoy and her husband Marlon. So thanks for everybody for coming again. I want to especially thank Commissioner Smoker, Commissioner Hintz, Chief Halverson. You're actually 3 of the 4 guys that I had on my list that I would have hoped would have talked today for a number of reasons. Number 4 would have been retired Chief Wayne Barnhart from Douglas County Fire District 2. Wayne was a captain in 1980 when I first joined the fire service. Wayne became a friend, a mentor. He actually, in early 2000s, talked me into staying at Fire District 4 when I was thinking about applying to different jobs. Wayne's an animated type of guy, and he'd have got up here and he'd have told you tales about how I screwed up when I was a volunteer firefighter. And he would have probably regaled you with a tale that has been over-exaggerated over the years, where as a volunteer, I was the first on the scene of a residential shed fire with smoke coming out of it. And the property owner runs up, and all I've got on is my coat. He runs up, she gives me the keys and says, "There's gasoline and ammunition in there." And the way Wayne tells it, I was running away from the structure towards him as he pulled up and gave him the keys, told him the tale, and then walked away. Not exactly my recollection of how it worked, but Wayne, it gets a little bigger every time he tells it. I'm a public servant. I've said this for years. I didn't really know what that term meant. It was a phrase for a lot of years. And over time, I started to learn that that's what I chose to do for life. When you enter public service, you're a servant to the public. You go and you take care of their needs in their worst hours. And that's what we were. That's what we are. That's what the fire service is all about, is helping the public. For years, like I said, I used the phrase. Over time, I used it as a badge of honor. Because what better goal can you set for yourself than to serve the public? Over the years, watching chiefs retire and watching their announcements and seeing their advertisements in the paper or their articles in the paper singing their praises, been kind of amazed that, people look at a fire chief and they say, oh man, he got this election, so the fire district's got money and he hired all these people, bought all these rigs, and he did all these projects. And the reality of it is, there's so many people that have their hands in those kinds of tasks, and they are just tasks. They're not the duty of the fire chief. The duty of the fire chief is just get those things accomplished in the best way possible. And so I don't feel that I made that many goals. My ultimate goal was to do the best to serve the public the best way I could. And I think that's what anybody in the fire service should struggle to get through. November 11th, 1985, 34 years, 9 months, 20 days. Not that I've been counting. But there's no way I would have assumed on that date that I would have come here and spent 34 years and eventually been the fire chief and served this public, leading a group of people who all they want to do is help. It's hard for me to imagine that, it's come to an end right now. But as Jim pointed out, all our conversations over the last couple of years have been, there will always be one more task, there'll always be one more project, there'll always be one more group of people that need to be served. And although I'm willing to do that, there just has to come a time. And I think the current staff, current fire chief, as of tomorrow, as of when I take off my uniform this afternoon, I think they're really prepared to take on that task. There's a number of people I have to thank. My dad and mom for helping me get to this point. If it weren't for them, I put my which probably would have been just as well. But I think I found my calling in a different way. This board of commissioners, there's 3 gentlemen I have to pick out. 3 guys that have really turned out to be my friends, but they were the best group of guys that I could have worked for. We did a lot of good things for this public. Commissioner Roger Portman, Commissioner Mark Hintz, Commissioner Jim Schmoker. I couldn't have chose a better team of people to work under and become friends with and manage this district with. I think we did a fantastic job, and I think in the future, I would hope that Jim moves the new board to accomplish the same kinds of things that we accomplished. When I talk about the staff, I can't be remiss in talking about 2 individuals that have gone on. Chaplain Howard Lewis and my administrative secretary, Sharon Wilson. They both meant a lot to me. They both counseled, consoled, worked with me. And quite honestly, Sharon basically, in some senses, ran this place for a lot of years. And I guess I'm going to continue to miss them. To Deputy Chief Gatterman, Sherry, Christina, Sam, and now Christine. This place, and I put it in a memo to the department the other day, this place wouldn't run without you guys. Mike came in and became my deputy chief right after I became chief. And he had to learn a lot in a short period of time and take on some tasks that probably weren't very pleasant. And he did a great job. He's going to move on, and I know he's getting ready for retirement. And I think he will succeed just as he always has. To the chaplains and officers and firefighters of this district, you need to continue to do what you do best, and that's serve this public. We've had a lot of tough times in the last few years, and we've all made it through it by sticking together and supporting each other, and we can continue to do that. There's lots of influences out there that are going to affect what fire districts do. And Chief Halverson was correct. We're in a different world, and there's going to be some things to overcome. This group of people needs to do that to be able to serve the citizens of Snohomish. I can't walk away without recognizing Merlin and the Snohomish County Fire Chiefs Association. I've gotten lots of emails and texts and phone calls over the last few days. These guys are wealth of knowledge and information and new perspectives that have helped me make it through the last 5 years. And without that support, I'm not sure how far we would have gone. So thank you, Merlin. To the citizens of Fire District 4, my friends, my neighbors, it's been a privilege and a pleasure to be your fire chief. And I know that the new staff is going to just carry on and serve you just as well as what we have done in the past. I'm going to miss a lot of people, from the school district to our law enforcement community to the city of Snohomish. It's been an interesting last 7 years as fire chief. 34 years, we've had a lot of pros and cons experiences, and there'll be memories that aren't going to go away soon. That being said, I thank you all again for coming, and best of luck to the Fire District 4. Thank you.
So we are going to make a presentation to Chief. The flag that was flown, the honor guard presented him, has been placed in the box, the recognition box, and ask him and his wife, Chief Simmons and his wife, to come forward. The 34 years. Recognize Chief Simmons. We're really glad that he left us something to do, that he didn't get everything done, or we'd be trying to figure out what's next on the agenda. I also thank him for blazing the trail to retirement, which he mentioned I will be following in the future. Thank you very much for your service to our community. I just want to take a moment now to say thank you to the Snohomish County Firefighters Pipe and Drums and the South Snohomish County Honor Guard and our guest speakers for being able to be here today to help us send Ron into retirement. Thank you all for attending online, for those that are here, and for a great day. Thank you for coming.
Go ahead. Yeah.